What's going on, everyone from Overtime Heroics? My name is Dane Podolsky, and I'm joined here with Daniel Zellhuber. He is a UFC lightweight and set to return to the octagon on September 17th when he takes on Trey Ogden. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, bro. Thank you guys for listening this interview, and thanks for giving the spot. It's always good having persons like you getting interest in the sport. So thanks.
Yeah, of course. And so, just first off, how's training been going? How'd the fight with Trey Ogden come together? And, what are you hoping to do this weekend?
The training was good. I was in Thailand for for almost 3 months. It was a long stay there. Then eventually I get my working visa for the fight, and I came here to Vegas. So it's almost been like a 4 months and a half fight camp. So it's been a huge, huge fight camp. Now, as you can see, I'm a little bit tired because 5 weeks, so that means wake up.
Mhm.
So I'm on that. But besides of that, it was a good fight camp. I train a lot. I train all the different areas of MMA. I feel that the good part about taking a long fight camp is that the first part that was in Thailand, it wasn't so specific for Trey. It was more like on evolving. Like for me, those months there was more for getting better in all the MMA areas and not only in specifically for the fight.
Mhm.
And now here in Vegas, I start working with Coach Eric Nixigan. We start working in the fight strategy. We
Mhm.
start doing specific sparrings with specific guys. Like so, I feel that I have a great fight camp. I feel strong. I feel the strongest in all my career, being here in Vegas with the Performance Institute and having all the supplements, the physical therapy, the the SNC. So it's really being here and having all these amazing tools for me. So I feel that, I hope you are all gonna see that on Saturday night in this fight. I really want to prove that I evolve a lot and hope you all guys are gonna see the evolving on my game.
It definitely. So, and you said you started your training camp in Thailand?
Yeah, yeah. I started my training camp in Thailand, and I was there for almost 2 months and a half. Not almost. I was there 2 months and a half actually.
Mhm. Was that Tiger Muay Thai or different? Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I was in Tiger Muay Thai. Yeah,
did you get to,
great gym, great
did,
gym with great fighters actually.
did you train with Rafael Fiziev at all?
Yeah, yeah. I trained with him a few times because when I arrived, he was getting ready for his fight against Rafael dos Anjos.
Mhm.
So I trained with him maybe 1 month, and
Okay.
then he goes to Stanford to Miami
Mhm.
to start doing his fight camp there. So I trained with him, but a few times. But it was good anyways. Like you can learn a lot of guys like that. Like even if it's just small times, you can learn a lot from guys like that, and I feel that that helps me a lot in the fight camp.
And so now you're in Vegas. Where have you been training for the rest of this?
Here, Here in Vegas, I've been training in Extreme Couture, or I've been taking the pro classes in Extreme Couture, and a partly of that, I've been training with Eric, like
Mhm.
for all this time. He was my main coach here in Vegas, so I was doing the professional classes, and then I was also training with Eric to develop some other stuffs, like more in the striking things and working the wrestling with amazing people here at Extreme Couture. So it was a great fight camp for me, actually, like two big schools, all time MMA gyms.
Mhm.
So I feel that that helps me a lot.
And so you're an undefeated 12-0 fighter. Does that kind of add some more pressure to you to keep that undefeated record going?
Nah, no, not at all. It's funny because almost all the people that made me interviews ask me the same, like if being undefeated means something to me. But at this point, I feel that no, it's more about how is my performance in the cage. Even if I win the fight or all the time that I win, I'm never happy about the winning. I'm always thinking about my performance. Because as everybody, I have wins that I don't like the way that I win. And instead of being happy, like, oh, I win, I'm like, no, man, like you barely not win. So you really need to get better. And actually, that's why all this trip started, because in my last fight, it was a great fight. It was a funny fight to watch as a fan, but as a fighter, it was not a funny fight, like it was a hard fight. And at least the way that I see it, it doesn't need to be like that. I need to train to that level that all the fights start to become easy for me. So that fight was like I already know that I already knew it that I need to leave Mexico, but for me that fight was like the breaking point between me staying in Mexico and not, you know. So yeah, the result doesn't matter at all. I think that I work enough to win, and that's what also keeps me confidence, you know, that I'm never chilling, I'm never just like doing nothing, you know.
Mhm.
I'm always training, and that gives me confidence.
And so you had that incredible fight on the Contender Series with Lucas Almeida, who's also now in the UFC. And then it's ended up being close to a year as a layoff for you. Has that been due to injury, and was it frustrating for you to
No,
start?
no, 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 not frustrating at all. Actually, I don't want to be an active fighter. You know, I take it 1 year because I was finishing my professional studies. I'm a physical therapist also, besides of
Okay.
being a fighter. So I asked the UFC for time to finish that. And when I finished the school, I immediately started traveling to Thailand and then here. But you know, I think that it's because I wanna become stronger in every fight. And I feel that if you keep grabbing fights like almost every 2 months, 3 months, you are not giving to you enough room to grow. You know, you're just like going fight camp between fight camp between fight camp. Like you are not giving it enough time to upgrade on other abilities. You know, so for me, for example, after this fight, I don't want to fight till maybe April, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna be because I'm gonna be on vacations. You know, that means because I want to do a wrestling fight camp.
Mhm.
So you know, I'm working on moving to another city and do specifically only wrestling for maybe 2 months, 3 months, and then came back here to Vegas to start another fight camp to another fight. So as you can see, it's not just like I don't want to fight. It's
Mhm.
because I really want to do the things the right way. And here in the UFC, it's not like a regular MMA league. Like it's a major leagues, and if you give some false step, you can go really deep. And especially in lightweight division with all the beasts that we have.
Mhm.
So for me, it's better just taking my time and keep getting better. I'm 23, so I have no rush.
And so let me ask you, because you're 12-0, 7 career wins by knockout, 2 career submissions, including calf slicer. You have a triangle choke. When you look at your game, I mean, you're talking about wanting to go to Thailand. I'm sure you're training the Muay Thai there. Then you want to do a wrestling camp. Where do you feel you're at your strongest? Is it standing and throwing, or is it on the ground with the grappling?
I feel that my strongest is MMA in general, but let me explain that. Like, I feel that I'm a very complete fighter, and I've been realizing that between all the fight camps that I've been doing, because sometimes I have better wrestlers than me, obviously, but I'm better striker,
Mhm.
or vice versa. Sometimes I have better strikers, but I'm a better wrestler. You know, I'm also black belt in jiu-jitsu, so I feel that I've been working in all the areas to being like more complete
Mhm.
fighter. And you know, I think that part of being undefeated for me is that I recognize by my own my weaknesses, and I start working on that weaknesses. You know, it's not like I just realize that, oh, I'm bad at wrestling. Well, let's train boxing. You know, for me it's like, oh, I'm bad at wrestling. All right, let's work wrestling. I'm bad at jiu-jitsu. All right, let's work jiu-jitsu. And it's like that. You know, it's like a constant grinding on became a better fighter. So yeah, just like that.
And so I also want to ask too, because you mentioned that part of the reason you were out for a while was finishing up becoming a physical therapist. When you're looking at spending your time and not fighting so many times a year, um how are you spending your time most of the time? Is it training and then doing physical therapy? And
Oh
like,
fuck no, no, fuck physical therapy. You know, I do that because I like the career and also because of my parents, you know, like my parents give me so much in my life, and for me it was kind of like my way to being grateful with my parents.
Mhm.
So I finished the school more for my parents than for me, you know, like my life is being a fighter,
Mhm.
and almost not almost all my time is just focused on being a fighter. And if I'm doing something, I'm only thinking about how that thing is gonna help me to become a better fighter. You know, if I'm watching a movie, if I'm reading a book, if I'm seeing some YouTube videos, all the things that I do in my life is just to become a better fighter. So
Mhm.
doing interviews, like all in my life is related with being a fighter. So really all my time is on this, so, and especially these last 5 months that I've been doing camp, because back in Mexico I have my family, my girlfriend, so I have maybe on the weekend I have another things to do, like regular stuff to do, but all these 4 months I've been traveling alone from all over around the world, and my only focus it's becoming a better fighter. Like I don't remember one single day in these 4 months that I doesn't think about how I'm gonna be a better fighter, or how I'm gonna be winning my next fight, or what things do I need to learn, what things do I need to improve. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that mindset is it's the one that makes me a good fighter.
And so you talk about you're from Mexico. There's been just so many great Mexican fighters on the rise right now. Brandon Moreno is a champion. He's got his interim belt back. Yair Rodriguez is on the rise. Irene Aldana, she just picked up a huge win. Does seeing, those fighters succeed, does that sort of inspire you to be part of that next wave of Mexican fighters?
Of course, this inspired me, because as you say, like MMA is not such a big sport still in Mexico.
Mm,
So, it's hard to bring the UFC to Mexico, but that's why we are bringing Mexico to the UFC.
mhm,
So for me, being able to represent my country amongst all these great athletes, it's perfect. It's like, and it motivates me a lot. Sometimes I train with Jair also, so it's great can be being able to share the moment of these fighters with my beginnings, and maybe in the future when they are start going out I'm gonna be like on my moment. So share all these with those fighters are it's good for me. It's something that makes me happy, like proud of my country.
mhm. And let me ask you quickly about Yair, because you mentioned you train with him. He's number 3 in his division right now and just picked up a win over Brian Ortega. Do you think he should
Number one, no?
say that again?
Number one, no?
I I think he's number 3 in featherweight.
All right. Who's
Um,
number?
so it's Volkanovski's the champion, and then one's Holloway, Max
Oh,
Holloway, and then actually, I believe so. I believe Yair Rodriguez is number 2
there
right
is two. Yeah,
now. Yeah.
because he's next from the title, right? Like he deserved the title shot. But
So
yeah, whatever you
uh,
you guys your question.
you're right. So I think Yair's number 2. Do you think one? Do you think he should get that title fight? And B, if he were to get that title fight with Alexander Volkanovski, having trained with him, how do you think that matchup would go?
Oh, I think that would be an insane matchup. I think that we will see Volkanovski using his wrestling again. Because believe me, one kick of Yair and you never wanna being kicked again for him. It's because he's such an explosive athlete. So I think that it's a difficult matchup as all the fights more in the top. Like when you're in the top, you're facing not only the best in the world but the best in the best. So and I feel that would be a interesting matchup for Jair, like a chess game. Because Volkanovski needs to stay away from the kicks, close the distance,
Mhm.
and Jair needs to keep the fight. And not only in the feet, Jair is a dangerous man in the ground. Like he doesn't have the room to show that on the cage because he almost finished all their fights soon or with striking. But he's pretty good in wrestling, so
Mhm.
I think that would be a very fun fight to watch.
And going back to that, because the UFC did go to Mexico a little bit before the pandemic when Rodriguez fought Jeremy Stevens. Do you want the UFC to go back to Mexico soon? And obviously, I'm sure you'd love to be part of that card if they do go back to Mexico.
Yeah, of course, that would be great. I hear that they're gonna go back maybe. I think that now everything is depending on how many Mexican fighters do we have in the UFC, and at the end of the day, it's a business, so they need to sell tickets. So we need fighters that sell more tickets, or more fighters to sell more tickets, like to be a renewable thing for the UFC. Do I event there? But if they does the event, that would be great for me.
I think the UFC could go back to Mexico because let's say either Brandon Moreno or Yair could headline the card, and then you have Irene Aldana, Alexa Grasso, she's on the rise too, and then there's so many fighters like yourself who are just on the rise as Mexican fighters. I think the UFC would be doing themselves a big favor by going back to Mexico.
Yeah, I know, but trying to explain that to them. Now, I think that they eventually are gonna do one fight card there, but it's because I think that not only in Mexico but all Latin America. It's an unexplored terrain for the UFC. Like there are a lot of countries in Latin America that love the UFC. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of money there. Just the UFC. I don't know if they still doesn't have a plan, or maybe they are trying to wait a little bit more. Because in Latin America also the COVID is still a difficult stuff. So
Mhm.
maybe it's that, like here in America now, nobody uses face masks. The things are more controlled, but in Latin America, we are still dealing with that. So
Okay.
probably it's part of that. So who knows? Who knows? But maybe in the future that will be great.
And so let's move on to your current matchup because you're fighting Trey Ogden. Have you gotten to watch any of his previous fights? Is that a big part of how you train? And what do you think
Oh yeah.
what do you think gives you the advantage over him stylistically?
Oh, I saw almost all his fights. I like to study my rivals. I think that again, part of being undefeated is that I'm a smart guy. I'm always trying to study the guys that I'm facing. And me and my team study Trey a lot, and we work based on what we study. And statistically, we know that my striking is better than him's. So I truly believe that he's gonna try to take the fights to the ground. We work on that, but it's not like I'm harmless on the ground. Like I'm also black belt in jiu-jitsu, so if he wants to go to the ground, it's gonna be under my terms, not under his terms. So
Mhm.
but either way, for me, it's better to keep the fight on the feet. If we go to the ground, I can work my way back up or just stay on the ground, fighting in the ground. So I think that it's a good matchup for me. Trey is a tough guy, don't misunderstood. He's a very good fighter. He's strong. He's hungry. So I think that it's gonna be a good match. Like I'm ready to die in that cage. So if he's ready to die, all right, then it's gonna be a war. If he's not, then he's gonna go to sleep. So
And let me ask you, because the odds makers seem to like you for this fight. You're around a minus 230 favorite. Is that something you pay attention to at all? And does that give you any boost of confidence knowing that you're the favorite?
no, of course no. There's a lot of champions that was underdog almost all their lives. You have Eddie Alvarez, the underdog king. You
Mhm.
have Charles Oliveira. I can give you a lot of examples. So now the people that gamble doesn't know at all what being a fighter means. So for me, being the ah being the
Favorite.
favorite in the bets, it's not something big for me. Having the underdog too many fights in my career. Now I'm the favorite, so it's just part of the game. But
Mhm.
with that, with my record, with stuff like that, I'm always trying to not paying too much attention. I just pay attention to my craft and what I need to work, and that's all.
And so, my final question. September 17th, Daniel Zellhuber takes on Trey Ogden. Daniel, give me your final prediction.
I'm gonna finish him. I truly believe that I'm gonna finish the fight. I never like to tell like, oh, I'm gonna finish him in this round or in this. I never like to do that. But definitely, I feel that I'm gonna finish this fight, and it can be in too many ways. It's because it's a fight. Like it can happen to a lot of things, but I really feel that I can finish the fight. I feel pretty confident getting into this fight, and yeah, of course, I'm gonna finish the fight.
You're here first. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time. Guys, Daniel returns to the UFC this weekend. He takes on Trey Ogden at UFC Vegas 60, headlined by Corey Sandhagen and Song Yudong. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you guys for starting the interview, and yeah, thanks. Don't miss the fight, September 17th.
Definitely. Best of luck.
Thanks, bro.